Hello everyone, my name is Lwanele Khasu and I am your psychologist and your host for Learn to Heal. It's good to be back. I did take, a week off. It wasn't a planned time off. Life was just lifing, hey? So thank you for all of your patience and thank you for the people that reached out and said, hey, what's happening? What's going on? Where is the podcast? We're missing the podcast this week. That really encouraged me because it's letting me know that people are looking forward to it. And I must say, I've also just been receiving a lot of feedback. So thank you so much. It means you guys are listening to me when I say, please send me all the feedback. Because actually it really is encouraging. It's encouraging to know that, the time that I take to record this podcast actually, is, you're receiving something out of it. And you're learning a lot. I'm grateful for the people that are also sharing their stories of how life has improved and the impact, the work that we are doing and the things that we're talking about. So I'm really, really grateful. I think the last time I had asked you guys, what I want to incorporate a lot of the, your feedback, your encouragement, your questions into the podcast, and how am I going to do that? So I decided I'm going to answer a person's question. At the end of the podcast, I'll also play around and try at the beginning. So I'll see which time kind of works best. So we're piloting this, but I will take a question that a person has asked me on the podcast, and then I'm going to respond to it. So today I'm going to try to do it at the end. And then maybe on other podcasts, I'm going to try to do it at the beginning and see which one works best. And please let me know which one is working best, beginning or the end, as you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast and see which one kind of works best. But I really do want to incorporate the community and make sure that the questions you're asking me, they're getting answered. Your reflections, your feedback is also being incorporated into the podcast because it's our podcast now, hey? It's not just for me. So I'm going to go straight into what I want to talk about today, and that is a relationship with yourself. So having a good relationship with yourself. That's what I want to talk about. Why, right? I think we put a lot of value, which is important. Relationships with other people are really important. We're not islands. We don't exist in our own worlds all by ourselves, and we can't just be all alone. Even when we're introverts, we still actually have a space for other people in our lives. But I think we put sometimes so much emphasis on how to build relationships with other people that we actually forget ourselves. We forget that we also need to have a relationship with ourselves. And you may be asking, okay, so what does a relationship with yourself look like? It looks like how your relationship with another person would look like. It's the value that you have for the relationship with yourself. It's a way that you relate to yourself. It's a way that you talk to yourself. It's the things that you're expecting from yourself. It's really the value you drive from your own company as well. So your relationship with yourself is just as significant as your relationship with other people, if not more actually, because if you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, chances are you're not going to have a healthy relationship with other people. So it's very important for you to maintain a good relationship with yourself. So there are about 8 things that I wanted us to think about. So that's why I've got on my computer here, so that it can help me a little bit with my memory. So there are 8 things that I really wanted us to think about today in terms of your relationship with yourself. And the first thing that I wanted us to think about is, what are generally your expectations with other people versus your expectations with yourself, right? And the reason why this is so important is because sometimes we have a lot of expectations for other people. We have a lot of expectations for our families, our romantic relationships, our friendships, and we actually don't communicate the expectations we have of ourselves. We have them, but we don't communicate them to ourselves so we can understand. And why is this so important? This is important because if you don't drive your goals, or you don't write them down, or you don't acknowledge them, it still loads into your sense of self. So let me give you an example. So for example, if you're saying to yourself, I would like to be married and have 2 children by the time I am 35. Right? That's an expectation you have with yourself, but perhaps you haven't vocalized or even written it down. So when you get to 35 and you don't have this marriage or these 2 children, you become disappointed and you ask yourself, what am I doing with my life? What am I achieving the things that I'm achieving? So this could go into your financial goals, it could go into your career goals, it could go into any other area of your life. You have an expectation for yourself. Sometimes you don't communicate or even acknowledge that expectation. And what it does is that because you're not actively working on it, because you haven't acknowledged it for whatever reason that may be, what then happens is that you then start feeling like you're not good enough or you haven't done enough, simply because that expectation has not been acknowledged, or even you don't have the steps towards making sure that you're actually meeting those expectations. So when you're building a relationship with yourself, it's very important for you to ask yourself, what are the expectations you have of yourself, so that you're able to really honor them and actually work on them and see yourself working on them. Have you seen how much confidence people that work out have? It's not because of the bodies they have, it's because of the amount of effort they put into themselves, and therefore they cultivate that relationship with themselves that says, I'm all that. I can wake up at 5 o'clock for myself. I can, go to the gym late for myself. I go even when I don't want to for myself. It's that cultivation of that relationship with yourself. So it makes you feel good about yourself because you're doing something about those goals. So very, very important. And the other thing that then becomes so important is, what do you find yourself longing for with other people, right? So let's say, for example, your relationship with your partner, your romantic partner, or even your friendships. What are those things that you generally find yourself longing for in those relationships? Perhaps you're longing for being acknowledged, being seen, being heard. Perhaps you are longing for your relationship to be a safe space for you. Whatever it is that you found yourself longing for in external relationships, I want you now to bring back into your relationship with yourself and say, how do I do that for myself? So if you're feeling like you've been longing for a safe space, a space where you can be vulnerable, you have to bring it back to yourself and saying, have you actually given yourself that safe space first? Are you acknowledging your feelings when you feel them, or do you actually negate them? Are you talking to yourself with kindness, or are you actually really negative and harsh with yourself? Thinking that you're trying to motivate yourself, but in actual fact, you're just constantly criticizing yourself. What are the things that you're longing for with other people, and can you apply those things with your relationship with yourself? And you will get the sense of fulfillment, because first, you've honored yourself before you actually expected someone else to honor you in that particular way. So very, very important. What are the things that you long for in relationship with others, so that you're able to establish those with your relationship with yourself? The one that's very important, that we talk about them all the time, is then you need to set some boundaries. So boundaries are there to protect you from people, from just doing anything in your life. It's to protect the people so that they don't have easy access to you, and that you're also honoring them because it's people that you have relationships with. But in order for you to set healthy boundaries, you have to understand, what are the things that people do that hurt you? What are the things that people do that you really love? What are the things that really make you feel acknowledged? So you have to first understand your relationship with other people so that you're able to set that boundary. Where do you feel like you have messed up in having to set a boundary. The thing about setting boundaries, it's not just about setting the boundary or acknowledging the boundary. You also then have to stick with it. And I think this is where people struggle the most. It's knowing that I want to do self-care Sundays, and you put that as a boundary, and people kind of know, oh, I don't call this person on a Sunday, or we don't do brunch on a Sunday, because they're taking time for themselves. And then someone asks you, oh, can we do something else? And then you break that boundary yourself, right? It's the breaking of the boundary that then makes people feel like, maybe it wasn't strong enough, or maybe it's a suggestion. So it's not just about setting the boundary. You have to set the boundary, and then you have to maintain it consistently so people know that they have to respect it. So you have to respect it first before other people can actually honor and respect that boundary. So very, very important to be able to set and maintain those boundaries so that you are cultivating this healthy relationship with yourself. Let me give you an example. One of the things that are so hard for people when they walk out of relationships is feeling like they've betrayed themselves. It's this feeling where you're like, I knew I wasn't happy, and yet I stayed. Why did I stay for so long? Or I knew I didn't like the way that this person was talking to me, and yet I didn't say anything, or there wasn't a consequence for them talking to me like that or having those expectations of me. So sometimes the thing that affects people the most after having left that relationship is that self-betrayal. It's that I let myself down. Can I now trust myself in the next relationship to be able to put that boundary? So it's very, very important to set the boundary and maintain it so that you don't feel like you're betraying yourself or that you actually have let yourself down. Very, very important. Then the other thing that becomes very important is self-compassion and self-care. So now self-care, as we generally talk about it, is, physical self-care. Take care of your health, do spa day, do solo dates, be in contact and in touch with your mind and what you're thinking. But self-care goes beyond that. You have to think about self-compassion. Self-compassion says, I don't feel like doing it right now, and I know it's something that I will need to do, so I'm going to give myself compassion for this moment, and then I'm still going to follow up with having to do that at a later stage, because it's part of my goals and it's part of the things that I have to do. Self-compassion says, I'm going to talk to myself with kindness. Self-compassion says, I failed, but I'm not going to look at myself as a failure. I'm going to try and learn from this failure. Self-compassion says, yes, I've got a pattern in my life of dating these people that are not good for me, but what I need to do now is take a step back, check my patterns, and see what I need to do about it, right? Self-compassion means you are not bashing yourself and you're not shaming yourself for some of the decisions that you may have taken. And some of them may have been detrimental decisions, but it's okay. You need to learn from them, you need to let go, and then you need to move on and make better decisions. So in building that relationship with yourself, you have to build that self-trust. And you can only build that self-trust if you're feeling safe and you're feeling compassionate and you're taking care of yourself, right? So you have to make sure that you're nurturing yourself and giving yourself that compassion, that love, and that kindness and the sense of grace to say, yes, I've messed up, but how do I fix this? And how do I do it differently the next time? Okay. And then what becomes also important as our number 5 is get to know yourself by paying attention and not judging yourself, right? One of the things that we don't do very well is paying attention to ourselves. And sometimes we don't do this because we think we're being self-indulgent. And it's so important for us to take a moment and pay attention. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What's happening for me? And even those negative self-thoughts that may come, it's okay to pay attention to them, because you want to understand what they are and what purpose they're serving, but also what triggered them. Because if you're trying to avoid and ignore them, then you're actually not going to progress much into the journey of getting rid of them, right? So you have to think to yourself and acknowledge and saying, okay, I need to pay attention to myself. What do I like? What do I not like? Why am I shouting so much lately and I'm not a person that shouts? Why am I, eating so much lately and I don't actually generally comfort eat? Or why am I not eating at all and I'm a person that actually enjoys my food? Why am I not sleeping? All of these things, you have to pay attention to yourself. Has something deviated from the norm of who you generally are? And then it's important to not judge yourself, because you don't then want to start labeling yourself, because that's not going to be useful in any way. You want to be kind, you want to be gracious and saying, okay, this is what's happening in my life. I am feeling a little bit angry. I am quite annoyed. I am quite irritable. What do I do about it? How do I fix it? How do I navigate through it? How do I manage it? Rather than saying, oh, I knew it. I can't deal with this. I can't cope with this. This is not good enough. I'm not good enough. Because that is actually not going to help you in any way. It's not going to help you build that healthy relationship with yourself. Pay attention. Don't judge yourself, and then be kind, right? And then number 6, reflect and learn. It's important for us to take moments where we pause and we reflect and we learn from the things. So if you think about it, all these things that I've said before, they all need a level of reflection and a level of learning from them. Your kindness to yourself, your compassion to yourself, tracking your patterns, all of these things, boundaries, they all require you to pause, to reflect, and to learn. Learn yourself. Get to know yourself, and don't judge yourself and saying, oh, but my sister is so better at this than I am. Oh, my friend is so better at this than I am. My colleague is so better at this than I am. Stop judging yourself. Stop putting labels on those things. Understand yourself. Okay, maybe you're not great at tennis. What are you great at? Right? Okay, maybe you're not really good at communication. How do you improve that? Rather than just labeling it as one thing and then not being able to do anything about it, right? Reflect and learn yourself. Get to know yourself. Journal so that you're able to track those things that you're learning about yourself. You can do video journals, you can do written journals, you can do audio journals, whatever it is. Track yourself so that you're able to learn from the things that you're doing. Oh, I'm actually really enjoying paddle. Oh, I'm enjoying talking to these people. This person is annoying me these days. I wonder what it is, right? You're learning yourself and you're learning about yourself, okay? And number 7, get help when you need it. Don't die alone, right? We need to get help when we need the help. This thing of trying to be strong people, is not useful. Resilience is not feeling pain. You feel pain even when you're a resilient person. You feel the pain. Resilience is around bouncing back from having experienced pain, bouncing back from adversity. So it's important for us to bounce back from things, but we're not going to avoid going through the stuff, right? Relationships will take a knock, ruptures will happen, work will feel very demanding, and sometimes it might feel even depleting. Burnout will happen at some point. It's okay. Those things happen. It's part of life. But what you really need to be able to do is, when you've done that reflecting and learning about yourself, when you've done those pause moments to understand, I'm actually not okay, when you've done that paying attention to yourself, and then you realize, I think I need another person to help me with this, it's okay. Ask for the support that you need and get the help. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be professional help. It needs to be a person who's going to help you think differently, who's going to give you a different perspective about what you are going through, right? So try and get support. Don't die alone. Don't think, oh, I need to figure this out first before I can take it to someone else. It's okay. When you have safe spaces, they can help you figure those out. And if you feel like you don't have personal safe spaces, then reach out to a therapist, because therapists are trained to be able to help you through that process. And then the last thing is keep community of people that you love and people that love you. Right? It is so important for us to live in community. We are not islands. We cannot live by ourselves. We cannot do everything by ourselves. It's important to have a relationship with yourself. It's important to have time alone. It's important to have introspections, but it's also important to share your life with other people. People that feel safe, people that support you, people that are going to cheer for you, people that are going to cry with you, people that are going to laugh with you, people that celebrate with you, and people that show you, you are not being kind to yourself right now. You need to celebrate this moment. We need people that are safe spaces in our lives. So you're not going to live by yourself as if you're an island. It doesn't help you. So here's a recap of the things that we need. Number one, what are the expectations you have of yourself? Number two, what do you find that you've been longing for in relationship with other people? Have you been setting boundaries and healthy boundaries in your relationship? Are you paying attention to yourself and paying attention to the patterns around you of the things that you need to do? Do you have a community of people that feel safe with you and that you feel safe with them? Are you compassionate with yourself? Have you sought support when you actually need support? Are you cultivating that relationship with yourself, and are you reflecting and learning from the things that you need to learn from? It is time for us to have healthy relationships with ourselves. I promise you, they make relationships with other people so much easier, because you're not looking for them to help you understand yourself. You actually know yourself. You're able to then tell them, oh, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is how I want to be treated. This is how I want to be loved. This is how I want us to do life together. Because you have a healthy relationship with yourself. It is not self-indulgence. It's not being selfish. It is not narcissism. It's you being able to take care of yourself. You're not saying you're better than other people. You're not saying you are negating everyone else in your life. You are saying it has to start with me first, so that I don't bleed on other people, so that I am healthy for me first before I am able to relate in healthy ways with other people. I hope you actually took those down and you're going to start using them as your steps to actually get to know yourself and to have a better relationship with yourself. And if you want to re-watch this again, re-listen to this again, so that you're able to continue through all of those 8 things, so that you have a better and best relationship with yourself. Take care of yourself, and I'm going to see you on the next one.